What is the harshest truth you've ever learned? When someone dies, you are never seeing them again. The day my partner died, I fell into my bed at night and cried my absolute heart out, knowing I would never hear her voice again, and it destroyed me. My bedroom was so quiet, dull and hollow, and I just felt hopeless. That was 6 years ago, and I can vividly remember my surroundings and feelings from that moment. To me, what worked is that I stopped caring what people thought about me, and I started to care what I thought of myself. The more that you care about what you think about yourself, the more likely you are to change what you dislike about yourself. It's essentially developing the right amount of ego, one that neither turns you narcissistic or makes you hate yourself. Impress yourself first before impressing other people. Make yourself desirable, but don't be influenced by what other people want. Make it about what you want to become. You could start by making yourself lose weight, getting a haircut, developing an interest, do a change of wardrobe, and most importantly, improve on your personality. Fix what is wrong and make it better. Only then will you care and value yourself so much that you don't care if someone thinks badly of you, but be wary of becoming self-centered. Try listening to constructive criticism, and only constructive criticism, because only then it will balance your ego out and not let you become a narcissistic monster.
Hey guys, much like you, I love reading people's stories on Ask Reddit. Unfortunately, there's a lot of weird middle school level, just thought experiment type hypotheticals like nice try Baskin Robbins. I don't find this compelling, so that's why I've made it my mission to trawl and crawl through Ask Reddit and find the very best content and put it in your ears. That's why I'm begging you, like and subscribe. If there's anything I can do to help you out, give you the kind of content that you crave to help you get through your workday, let me know in a comment. But please like and subscribe.
Stop worrying what others think. Most people are so caught up in themselves they barely know anyone else exists. Don't let your ego convince you that anyone gives a rat's ass about what you're doing. Of the few out there that do care, even fewer of them can do anything to either help or harm you. That you never know when the last time is until it is too late. Last time you hugged a friend. Last time you said I love you. Last time your kid crawled in bed for cuddles. Last time your parents called to chat. Last time you had a great time with someone before. Even the last times you look forward to end up passing by and mark the finality of time. I am not sure what the date was when I changed my last kid's diaper, but my babies aren't babies anymore. I prefer to think that Disney got true love wrong. True love is when they wipe vomit off your face when you're sick or comfort you when you're having a meltdown. True love is sitting next to someone in silence and just feeling good in their presence. True love isn't having intense movie-level sex twice a day or having deep life-altering conversations every day while staring into each other's eyes. True love is pausing during your 100th conversation about literally the same topic and realizing you'll never get tired of talking to them. And sometimes you can find that love and it isn't enough. Sometimes the nicest people just seem to get fucked over by the universe through no fault of their own. I know being nice can lead to you getting screwed over by people willing to take advantage of it, but I'm more referring to random happenstance like someone gets run over by a drunk driver, gets killed in a terrorist bombing attack, getting cancer for diseases. That's more what I'm referring to. When it comes to grief, time does not heal all wounds. It dulls it, but one trigger and it floods back. I learned this after my grandma died in 2015. Sad I know, but I resent the fact that people kept telling me I wouldn't feel it one day. I think we need to be honest about that so people know how to cope with grief in the right way. Not hold out for a day when it won't be there lurking in the shadows. Oh my goodness. I just woke up. I'm completely taken aback by the amount of comments, support, empathy, love, understanding. I will do my best throughout the day to read every reply. Truly, thank you for the awards. And thank you especially for sharing your experiences, thoughts, meaningful quotes with me. Reddit is really something special, and so are all of you beautiful humans. A big one for me is how many last times you're going to have, and how often you won't realize it's a last time. Things can change so fast. Go bowling every Monday. Have a convention you and your friends go to yearly. Hang out regularly with the same people. One day is going to be the last time it happens, and almost without fail you will not know. Then you go days without talking to someone, then weeks, then months. Then one day you realize that you aren't really friends anymore. No major fallout, just your lives are no longer compatible. I did fall in love with my husband's potential. I just happened to be one of the lucky 1 in a million it worked out for. 10/10 don't recommend it. Most people do not change. It was a really hard fucking road. Mental illness is no joke. His willingness to seek help and try medication was everything. To anyone out there struggling, please start talking to someone about what you're going through. Life can be so much more than struggle, and it's okay to need help figuring it out. That even thought people are hanging out with you doesn't mean that they always actually like you. I figured that out when I used to hang out with this girl, and one day she just came up to me and told me that it's annoying how I always hung around her and the other girls, and that I should probably just go away because a lot of the other girls didn't like me either. I had such a hard time trusting people after that. I didn't want to go to stuff like sleepovers or hang out after school with kids in high school, even if they did invite me, because I just had that voice in the back of my mind telling me don't hang out with them. They're only inviting you to be polite. Just decline, they'll have more fun without you.
I turned 36 this year, and I decided to focus on my physical fitness, so I bought a swim club membership. The only problem was, most of the time when I go swimming, I wind up getting an ear infection. So it turns out that normal earplugs, they kind of irritate your ear canal, they don't really work, they don't keep the water out, but there is an amazing kind of earplug. It's called Mack's Pillow Soft Silicone earplugs that, they feel great, they keep the water out 100%, they're reusable, and they don't irritate your ear canal at all, no issues. If you've ever had a severe ear infection, you don't want to experience that again. It can permanently damage your hearing if you're unlucky. So investing in these earplugs is definitely a good idea. Also, when my baby was crying later this year and I could not get to sleep, I used the same earplugs and they worked great. I was able to sleep right next to a crying baby. So be sure to click my affiliate link and purchase some of these Mack's earplugs today.
Can be many things. Big things, small things. That's someone who's inattentive will pay attention if you just try hard enough to show them it's important. That someone who constantly self-sabotages will stop if you show them they're worthy. That an addict will get clean if you support them enough. That someone violent will stop if you love them enough. It's not your job to fix your partner. Either you love them the way they are and you should have a long, hard look if who they are is really what you think, or if that's just your idea of them, or you don't. If it's the latter, you may need to move on. This isn't the same as growing together. That's an inevitable process based on equality. Your partner can't be like an investment into a rotting house that you just need to fix and then it'll be great to live in. Honestly, this is the hardest part of adult life for me. I'm in a truly great marriage, and I am someone's world, but it isn't the true love I grew up hoping to find. I've had some amazing romances, but they all burn out and fade before too long. This is my healthiest relationship by far, but it's still hard knowing that kind of relationship I wanted as a kid doesn't exist. Without help, trauma never goes away properly. I know this is frowned on, but thank you for the awards. They are much appreciated and make me smile. However, if you were considering a paid award, please instead donate that money to either your local mental health aid or your local animal shelter, please. It can do so much good. Thank you all for your wonderful responses. I made a comment already, but I'll make another one. It's tragic to see how fast relationships can get redefined. It's painful to learn how quickly a cumulative amount of experiences and love can become dust in the wind moving forward. For me, it was my fault and just changing life circumstances. I lost my two closest friends, and I became somewhat bitter, which didn't help things. They reprioritized their lives and decided I wasn't in that picture. You think that people will give you a chance at redemption, or that maybe they'd give you some kind of hint that you're pushing them away. But that really isn't how life always works. Miscommunications happen, sometimes there isn't any communication, and you're now a stranger. I regret every moment I did end up pushing them away, but what was most painful about all of it is that I never was clued in until I was out in the cold. The cold truth in life is that no one will ever care about you as much as you have the ability to about yourself. If you don't even value yourself, well, no one is going to find it easy to do it for you. Last time your parents called to chat. My father has suffered from dementia for the better part of a decade now. On my birthday, every year, he would call and tell me the story about how he was at work when my mum went into labor. How the foreman called out asking if someone by my dad's name was there. And when my dad said yes, the foreman yelled, "Well, you better get to the hospital because you're about to be a dad." The knife that made me realize he would never be my dad again was the year he forgot my birthday, and that I realized he'd never tell me that story again. But I also got a very happy moment when I thought I'd never see his handwriting again and found an old birthday card he'd written me with the words, "You and me. Always." I'd like to share my all-time favorite Reddit comment here if that is ok. Alright, here goes. I'm old. What that means is that I've survived so far and a lot of people I've known and loved did not. I've lost friends, best friends, acquaintances, co-workers, grandparents, mum, relatives, teachers, mentors, students, neighbors, and a host of other folks. I have no children, and I can't imagine the pain it must be to lose a child. But here's my 2 cents. I wish I could say you get used to people dying. I never did. I don't want to. It tears a hole through me whenever somebody I love dies, no matter the circumstances. But I don't want it to not matter. I don't want it to be something that just passes. My scars are a testament to the love and the relationship that I have for and with that person. And if the scar is deep, so was the love. So be it. Scars are a testament to life. Scars are a testament that I can love deeply and live deeply and be cut, or even gouged, and that I can heal and continue to live and continue to love. And the scar tissue is stronger than the original flesh ever was. Scars are a testament to life. Scars are only ugly to people who can't see. As for grief, you'll find it comes in waves. When the ship is first wrecked, you're drowning, with wreckage all around you. Everything floating around you reminds you of the beauty and the magnificence of the ship that was, and is no more. And all you can do is float. You find some piece of the wreckage and you hang on for a while. Maybe it's some physical thing. Maybe it's a happy memory or a photograph. Maybe it's a person who is also floating. For a while, all you can do is float. Stay alive. In the beginning, the waves are 100 feet tall and crash over you without mercy. They come 10 seconds apart and don't even give you time to catch your breath. All you can do is hang on and float. After a while, maybe weeks, maybe months, you'll find the waves are still 100 feet tall, but they come further apart. When they come, they still crash all over you and wipe you out. But in between, you can breathe, you can function. You never know what's going to trigger the grief. It might be a song, a picture, a street intersection, the smell of a cup of coffee. It can be just about anything and the wave comes crashing. But in between waves, there is life. Somewhere down the line, and it's different for everybody, you find that the waves are only 80 feet tall. Or 50 feet tall. And while they still come, they come further apart. You can see them coming. An anniversary, a birthday, or Christmas, or landing at a hare. You can see it coming for the most part and prepare yourself. And when it washes over you, you know that somehow you will, again, come out the other side. Soaking wet, sputtering, still hanging on to some tiny piece of the wreckage, but you'll come out. Take it from an old guy. The waves never stop coming, and somehow you don't really want them to. But you learn that you'll survive them. And other waves will come. And you'll survive them too. If you're lucky, you'll have lots of scars from lots of loves. And lots of shipwrecks. This was written by Ugsno, and I hope it helps. As for grief, you'll find it comes in waves. When the ship is first wrecked, you're drowning, with wreckage all around you. Everything floating around you reminds you of the beauty and the magnificence of the ship that was, and is no more. And all you can do is float. You find some piece of the wreckage and you hang on for a while. Maybe it's some physical thing. Maybe it's a happy memory or a photograph. Maybe it's a person who is also floating. For a while, all you can do is float. Stay alive. In the beginning, the waves are 100 feet tall and crash over you without mercy. They come 10 seconds apart and don't even give you time to catch your breath. All you can do is hang on and float. After a while, maybe weeks, maybe months, you'll find the waves are still 100 feet tall, but they come further apart. When they come, they still crash all over you and wipe you out. But in between, you can breathe, you can function. You never know what's going to trigger the grief. It might be a song, a picture, a street intersection, the smell of a cup of coffee. It can be just about anything and the wave comes crashing. But in between waves, there is life. Somewhere down the line, and it's different for everybody, you find that the waves are only 80 feet tall. Or 50 feet tall. And while they still come, they come further apart. You can see them coming. An anniversary, a birthday, or Christmas, or landing at a hair. You can see it coming, for the most part, and prepare yourself. And when it washes over you, you know that somehow you will, again, come out the other side. Soaking wet, sputtering, still hanging on to some tiny piece of the wreckage, but you'll come out. Take it from an old guy. The waves never stop coming, and somehow you don't really want them to. But you learn that you'll survive them. And other waves will come. And you'll survive them too. If you're lucky, you'll have lots of scars from lots of loves. And lots of shipwrecks. This is correct. True love isn't seeing someone for the first time and realizing you want to bang them. True love is sticking by someone's side when they get us cancer. Through the whole, drawn-out decline. And never once even considering running away, even though watching them slowly slip away is the hardest thing you've ever done, because you will be goddamned if you're going to let them suffer for even a second alone. That's love. Happened to me. There was a new guy in my school, looked similar to me and was just a tad taller than me, and he was so much more popular. I hated him. I go to sign up for the swim team and there he is, on the roster. First few practices happen and we don't talk much, if at all. Then our first meet comes and we start to chat a bit. By the bus ride home we are best friends, found out he lived 5 mins away from me, and the rest is history. I later learned that he hated me too until he started talking to me. Best friendships come from hatred. It is said that people die twice, once when they pass, and again the last time someone ever remembers them. If the pain of loss is the price of keeping them alive, then it is a price worth paying. Finding peace with that is the important step. May you find it one day. Hey folks, thank you for all the kindness. The first part is a quote I heard, but I can't remember who it was from. Apparently I paraphrased it. There is the original from the movie Stand Up Guys. They say we die twice. Once when the breath leaves our body, and once when the last person we know says our name. The second part is my own thought on the subject. I've never seen Coco, I know it's totally my fault, or read a story about a fairy named Snowdropper, but I promise you all, I'll add them to the short list. Thank you for the kind comments, and I hope the message spreads through you all to give comfort to others that are hurting and who have lost.
I turned 36 this year, and I decided to focus on my physical fitness, so I bought a swim club membership. The only problem was, most of the time when I go swimming, I wind up getting an ear infection. So it turns out that normal earplugs, they kind of irritate your ear canal, they don't really work, they don't keep the water out, but there is an amazing kind of earplug. It's called Mack's Pillow Soft Silicone earplugs that, they feel great, they keep the water out 100%. they're reusable, and they don't irritate your ear canal at all. No issues. If you've ever had a severe ear infection, you don't want to experience that again. It can permanently damage your hearing if you're unlucky. So investing in these earplugs is definitely a good idea. Also, when my baby was crying later this year and I could not get to sleep, I used the same earplugs and they worked great. I was able to sleep right next to a crying baby. So be sure to click my affiliate link and purchase some of these Mack's earplugs today.
My dad is a terrible person and I am not immune to it. I have to let go of him. I have to actually reject my own parent. He's a crippled alcoholic and I have to essentially abandon him anyways because he's also an awful person. It is the right thing, but it feels very wrong. Yes, this was like a bucket of cold water dumped on me. My husband and I are friends with a couple. We feel really close to them. Our kids love each other. We have very similar family values. When the wife had surgery, I was pretty emotional privately. There was a risk of the surgery going horribly wrong. In my head, I was thinking that if they ever needed us to, I would take care of their kids in a heartbeat, no question about it. Her surgery went well, she recovered well. But my husband and I have no family in this country, and we tentatively asked them if they would consider being named legal guardians for our kids, and take crickets. I'm not bitter about them not saying yes, because it's a huge thing to ask anyone. I just feel stupid for thinking that my deep feelings for them were reciprocated when they weren't. I still cared deeply about them but have learned not to assume it goes both ways. It seemed people are assuming a lot of things about the situation, so if you care to read on, I will explain further. There are certain situations that one can never fully imagine unless you've been there. One of those is leaving your entire social support system and moving to the other side of the world quite literally with small kids. Imagine the estate planning lawyer giving you a weird look when you bring your kids to the meeting because you have nobody in this entire hemisphere to watch them for an hour while you have your will drawn up. Imagine said lawyer telling you that your willing sister cannot be named guardian of your kids because she doesn't live in the same country. Imagine having the prospect of your kids entering the foster system way over you for 8 years. During those years, we made many wonderful mutually supportive friendships. This friendship is different. This family feels like family to us. I admit that I was not wise to ask them what I did. That was why I answered Op's question. I understood it the second they didn't respond. I knew they might react that way, but my feelings for them, and my feelings about my kids being at the mercy of foster parents clouded my judgment. Of course, I have money to support my kids in case of my husband's and my death. We would have discussed that if my friends agreed. I didn't do this without thought or consideration. I'm not mad at my friends. I just learned a lesson that was hard to learn. Don't be. The age that I felt the oldest was 25. After that, it just became a number. The number changes but, inside, the person's self-image does not. Throughout life, old is always 10 years older than you are now. The best description I have ever found is, the years are short but the days are long. Enjoy the ride as best you can. It is the only one you get. I fucking knew it. I knew 24 was the age. It was actually when I turned 23 that I was like, holy shit, this is not gonna stop. The numbers just keep going up. I think it's when I felt like my age wasn't as much a part of my personality anymore. I'm afraid. It'll be 20. Same. My harsh truth was realizing my funeral will be empty unless I die before my one surviving parent, that is. Hell, there might not even be a funeral. If I die at home, my corpse won't be found until they come to evict me for being late on rent.
If there's ever a fly or a mosquito or like a yellow jacket or some weird unknown insect in my house, my wife will not leave me alone until it is dead, and she will blame me personally for having a house that an insect entered. The only way that I'm able to buy peace for myself so that I can work on this YouTube channel that you enjoy is by using an electric fly swatter with an affiliate link in the description. The way this fly swatter works is that you hold down the little button and then you whack the fly as if it were a tennis ball and it looks like a tennis racket. And what the electricity does is it stuns the insect or kills it so that you can clean it up easily. And the fact that it's a tennis racket gives it you a much better chance of actually hitting the insect. And I found it invaluable, and I hope that you will decide to also use it in your home. And, if you're like a teenage boy, you can also whack other teenage boys with it. We used to do that in the Boy Scouts.